if your why is bigger than the problem, no matter what, you can get up and you can do whatever it takes.
Christina Griffin in Florida, Tampa, Florida. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me on. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, I'm excited. In my experience, when it comes to short sales and preforeclosures, people either love them or they hate them. Is that your same experience?
It is. And, what I would tell you is I am very much process oriented. There's a book called Rocket Fuel, and I am the visionary. However, being the integrator is something I have always done, where you have systems and processes to follow. I have a great operations manager now that helps with the integration part. However, doing so many REOs, I did short sales when they weren't cool. My prior company, I created a short sale department for the company. When short sales took 6 months to a year, we're closing short sales in 2 weeks because they have now, they leverage the same systems and processes that the REOs do. And they have processes and they have databases that they follow. So I very much like to be able to analyze data, have a workflow, and to be able to help others. Now, short sales are very much like REOs. You have someone that lives in the home. You have to have a servant's heart that you're there to help them. And a lot of people, they don't look at it that way. And right now, with millions of homeowners going through forbearance, millions of renters that the eviction is going, the CDC eviction hold's going to expire the first of the year. There are people that need our help.
What are the other important things that an agent might need to know in order to get started into this portion of the business that, like I said, many people just kind of stay away from and have for the last decade?
Well, if you have a mortgage on your home, you should call the bank. It's very interesting when you call them and ask what your options are and really talk. And I actually did that for my own mother-in-law, who is almost 80, when forbearance happened, and they were ready to give her a forbearance for a good 6 months and with just a verbal yes. So talking to your own bank about options is very educational. However, the first step is you need to call the bank. When you're working, people get caught up in overwhelming, and it just needs to be added to your process. A short sale is just like a normal listing with an addendum and different verbiage on the MLS. As soon as you get the listing, you call the bank that is on the mortgage. You don't even have to have the authorization yet, and just say, I have a client I just signed a listing agreement for that would like to do a short sale. Can you point me in the right direction? Most of them are going to email you, or they're going to send you to a website that has a step-by-step package. That package needs to be filled out depending on the bank's criteria. There's normally an authorization letter that it needs to be filled out. I also recommend you to ask your title company or your attorney's office if they process short sales. Mine does. I use the title company I do for over 10 years because I don't have to do the short sales anymore. It doesn't cost me anything. They have someone on staff. In the heyday, there were third-party short sale negotiators. I highly recommend, if you're going to do a lot of them, you can create massive departments for your own office with an admin. It's like a transaction coordinator. You have timelines, you have to follow a task. But when you call the bank that is for the mortgage for your client and just ask them what their process is, it's just like an REO. REOs, all the processes are different. They give you, here's the process. You can have 20 banks all with different processes. That's the same thing with a short sale. You follow their process, you submit the package, you copy the multiple listing, which is going to need to be required. Let the short sale get processed in the system. Then they're going to need a closing statement and a contract. So I always say, never wait to register the short sale. If the client wants a short sale, you get them to work on the package. A lot of times they're going to need tax records. If they don't have taxes, like, because a lot of people behind, they haven't done their taxes, you just let the bank know. They're very much not wanting to take properties back and work on solutions. So if you have a seller that's willing to make the phone calls and willing to do a few pieces of paper, it's not a hard process, but you got to be task oriented. Or find someone that will and share it with them. I used to do a lot of short sales in the heyday with agents that didn't want to do it, and I did it all, and we just shared in the transaction. Most short sales, you can have that conversation with the seller if you know what you're talking about and just say, you know what, Mr. Seller, do you know that it's not going to cost you anything out of pocket? You do have negative equity. The great thing right now is the bank could potentially offer you cash for keys, several $1,000s to move out of your home, take everything out of your home, and you can potentially get a check for handing over the keys and signing the closing paperwork. Because right now, the bank does not want the property back. I can send you a listing agreement in a few minutes with all the instructions. What's your email?